Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Novel Review. This is episode number 42, and this episode reviewing Star Wars Thrawn by Timothy Zahn. I'm not going to give away too many spoilers for some. I'm going to give away like a couple spoilers in here, but the reason why I want to give away spoilers is because this is just a really good book, and my friend Mass Panther is currently reading the book right now, and I don't want to spoil it for him. But if you managed to catch this review, this is a really damn good book. Yes. There's some things I will tell about this book. For one thing, Timothy Zahn writes Thrawn to be a very competent person, a little bit manipulative, but he basically gets in some situations, very sticky situations with higher up who don't like him very much because, well, one, he's an alien, and two, he does stuff basically not again. He's basically breaking protocol when he does stuff like this, and he's able to get off the hook by giving very reasonable explanations for his actions, and somehow they're able to let him go. And he starts out basically as a lieutenant, ends the book as a grand admiral. That's not exactly a big spoiler. Yeah, it just is progression over the course of what seems like a couple years. I'd say about 2 or 3 years at most. I will spoil this much about the book. He does meet the Emperor, and he meets Grand Moff Tarkin. Yeah, he actually meets about halfway through the book. It's a really short scene. Thrawn himself is he's actually in the book a couple times, 2 or 3 times in the book. Not very much because the book is heavily focused on Thrawn himself, but it's told from the perspective of this guy named Eli Vento, who, like Thrawn, basically rises through the ranks, though he only raises as high as Commander, while Thrawn goes as high as Grand Admiral. And yes, he does wear this. So they don't reference this white uniform, but he does definitely. He's not wearing it. I gotta show this off. The cover is amazing. Look at this gatefold cover. You don't see this for novels. No, you see this for comic books, never for novels. It's a really neat concept, and the fact that they really got the artist who designed this cover should get a medal for the people from Lucas Books should give this guy a raise for accurately drawing exactly what Thrawn is supposed to look like. He's got the right skin color, his eye is the right color, and his uniform is the right color. Heck, his hair is correct. This book is just so amazing. Bringing back Timothy Zahn to write the character Thrawn again, this was a brilliant stroke of genius on the part of Lucas Books, which, by the way, this is not the only time he's written Thrawn. I mean, yes, he did create Thrawn for the famous Thrawn trilogy, which consisted of these 3 books: Heir to the Empire, Dark Force Rising, and The Last Command. Yeah, that's the original trilogy that Thrawn himself appeared in. He also appeared in Outbound Flight, which took place years before the Dark Force trilogy. Basically, they're part of the Legend novels. And the Dark Force and the Thrawn trilogy was actually the first of the books that the Star Wars novels released in the early 90s. I've read them. They are really good. My friend Mass Panther, they're actually his favorite books, and I do enjoy the fact that Thrawn himself is canon. That's great and all, but it even kind of basically says that the previous book is not canon. From what I can tell, he does. Timothy Zahn does integrate a lot of the stuff he used for the character when he originally appeared in the Thrawn trilogy, and he integrates this stuff really well. And here's the thing: apparently Thrawn is not actually his name. It's just the name that he assumed. It's just basically English translation of his name. His real name is this is of course according to his Chast. That's his species. His real name is Mathro Naruto, I think that's how you pronounce it. And the reason why he assumes the name Thrawn because it's more of an appropriate imperial name to use, and he's the one who picks out the name. I should point that out. He says even though Mathro, keep forgetting his real name. Even though his real name is Mathro Naruto, I think that's how you pronounce the person's name. Yeah. his species language is Sai Blah. It's a very strange name, very strange language for the species, but they're humanoid, so they don't have a problem passing for a normal human. Yeah, they look human. They're not that different. The only thing different about them is their skin color and their color of their eyes. That's really it. Timothy Zahn writes Thrawn to be a very confident individual, and his aide that he's with the whole entire book. He basically started as his translator, and even though he does speak even though he was able to pick up basic pretty easily, he still kept them around because there's some certain words he would not understand, so he may not be familiar with it, or at least simple concepts. So Eli Vantel basically had to explain stuff to him that way, and Thrawn is basically written to be sort of an outsider, but has military prowess and military expertise. That's the reason for his rapid rise in the ranks. I won't spoil who he meets at the end. It's a jaw dropper. It's something that never happened in the original Legendary novels. No. And him meeting the Emperor, even though it's referenced he has met the Emperor in the Legend novels, yeah, it's referenced he actually has met him, but they actually brought that in here. But him meeting Tarkin, that is something that I don't think was ever even brought up at all, if he ever actually knew Tarkin at all. It's also referencing here that he met Anakin Skywalker. Yeah, he met Anakin Skywalker during the Clone Wars. Yeah, but this is just one purely awesome book, and I highly recommend it for people who are fans of the character of Thrawn. And the book itself is only just... It takes a while. It's actually one of the more longer Star Wars books I've actually read. This book is 427 pages. Yeah, for a book that takes place over 2 to 3 years, I think so. They don't explicitly say, but according to the Star Wars book timeline, this kind of takes place... let's see if I get to the page. It comes right after Thrawn. Yeah, that is the... yeah, Thrawn takes place after Tarkin. I wouldn't say immediately after Tarkin. I would say just a few short years after Tarkin. There's references to the Rebellion in here, which is starting up. There's also references to the Death Star. Of course, that's brought up toward the end. But I'm not going to spoil who he meets at the end. Read the book, and the ending will drop your jaw. The epilogue is something else, but the thing that happened before the epilogue, it's a jaw dropper, and I would love to see Timothy Zahn do a follow-up to this book, like what happens next, because there's more to Thrawn that we really need to see for this character, and this is just purely amazing. Because this book is just so good, and the fact you have Timothy Zahn, the guy who created Thrawn, to actually do this book, I am going to give this book a 10 out of 10. It's just so good. Find it and pick it up. It is well worth the money you will spend for it. Even though it's about $30, it's worth the price for it. Pick up Barnes & Noble. I'm sure they probably get a discount for the book. Alright, that's it for this episode. Stay tuned whenever I get a chance to do episode 43. But yeah, it's been a little bit of a while since I actually did the last one. But I kind of figured though that one will be, that book basically will be able enough to do for this particular episode. But just until I see you all in the next episode, okay? Bye.